helps keep us broadcasting around the world.
But I said, I don't care. I mean, I care, but I just said, I'm not going to give up. Because they're trying to frighten everybody away from Trump. And you saw it. They even did it in the electoral. They tried to do that whole electoral college thing. They tried to, you know. And this is not the way a democracy works, is it? Doctor?
We are not a democracy. We are
that.
a constitutional federated republic.
Right.
Thank you, dear Lord, for inspiring us. Because the federated constitutional republic ensured our survival in 2016. If we were just a pure democracy, that turns into mobtocracy. The founders, in their wisdom, created a system called the Electoral College, what used to be the indirect vote of the senators, direct vote of members of Congress. But we, the people, stood up.
We did.
Supported it.
Right.
And we'll continue to support it.
And we will.
And we can't back off.
No, we can't. No, we can't.
It's just starting.
It's just starting, that's right.
That's what I need you to say strong today. I don't think people understand. They think we won, but you got to win the next one.
I want to throw out my favorite Lincoln quote, which I do in almost every program.
Yes.
And Lincoln, in the darkest days of the Civil War, said, fellow citizens, we cannot escape history. We of this Congress and this administration shall be remembered in spite of ourselves. Of personal significance or insignificance will spare one another of us. He then goes on to say, the fiery trial through which we pass shall light us down and honor or dishonor onto the latest generation. We continue to be in a fiery trial. This is a time of challenge. It's a time of challenge. Ronald Reagan said it. We saw it today that he said he feared we were slipping towards Sodom and Gomorrah, and it would mean the Armageddon. He pushed back at it. We got to push back today, because part of that Lincoln statement as well was, we must disenthrall ourselves, and then we shall save our country. Disenthrall yourself from the dogmas of the past, embrace the Word of God, lead America to a better future for our children and grandchildren.
Yes. Amen.
What do you foresee President Trump doing the first months in office? Have you thought about it? Have you listened to him enough to try to figure out what will he do and what should he do?
Hopefully we will have a peaceful inaugural day of inauguration, but
only God would bring that.
Yes,
because they're determined to disrupt.
The next day,
they're thugs.
Yes,
these people
they're terrorists.
Are thugs, and we're glorifying them and giving them room on TV all over this country. It's wrong. These are thugs. And they don't have a right. They ought to be put away if they're going to threaten the peace of America.
And they do.
Demonstration is not threatening people's lives.
The war, in a way, will start on January 21st. As remember, the Constitution states that the cabinet officers, by the advice and consent of the Senate, every single one of Trump's nominations for cabinet-level officials, the left has already said, we're going to destroy them. We're going to take them down. That's when we, the people, have to be standing up loud and clear, and if need be, peacefully go into the streets by the millions and say, this is the voice of America.
Yes.
You will definitely clear Sessions, you will clear Mattis, you will clear all these people and get this government running again, and don't gridlock us for the next 6 months with yet more harassment.
Exactly.
We have to stand up. We have to be willing to go into the streets peacefully.
Peacefully, yes.
It's only started.
Yeah.
Remember what Lincoln said about the fiery trial.
This is, George Soros believes in the open society.
Yeah.
Do you know what the open society means? It's based on Saul Alinsky. You don't get what you want out of government by the normal channels of the system. You get it by disrupting. You get it by blocking the streets, by rioting, by violence. You basically are the ones running things by the mob. That's what Soros believes in. That's what he's paying money for.
Why don't our leaders see this? There's got to be a counter-reaction to this evil that's going on. You know, you saw what happened the first Trump rally, I think, was in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
And we find out that they were paying the protesters.
Yes.
You know, and when that all was unveiled, a lot of that stopped because it was uncovered. And I just think we've given up because it's easier to stay home and watch television. But we can't give up. We can't just lay down and die for it. I believe this inauguration without God is going to be one hectic mess.
Yes.
But this is really serious business.
Yes, it is.
They have done everything in their power to overturn the will of the people.
Right.
Why do you think they spend the sudden emphasis on what they call fake news?
Yeah.
It's to marginalize us, to shut us up. It's always about marginalizing us. It's always about shutting us up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're not going to shut up anymore.
No.
We're going to stand up. We're going to be heard. And
That's right.
in our household, you're the expert on Soros and Zelensky. You're the one that's always, I mean, who did Zelensky dedicate his book to?
Lucifer.
Yeah. And
Yes.
And
exactly.
who studied Zelensky's writing?
Hillary.
Yes.
Clinton.
That was her. Isn't that what wrote the thesis? Her
Yes.
Oh, she
but
was a devotee of
She
them.
differed from Saul Alinsky because she believed instead of doing the mob mentality on the streets, you go into the system.
Infiltrate.
And you infiltrate and you turn it upside down from the inside. So she differed from Alinsky on that point.
And this is a person who came within a hair's breadth of becoming president of the United States.
very scary.
Yes. That's how close we got to the edge.
Very.
I wonder how many terrorists have been appointed to government positions that are there now. Because I have read that there are intellectual people who believe it's too late to save America. That the implant of all of those terrorists and all of those people with weapons and all those bombs, they've already been there. And if God's going to save America, we're at the end of it. And God, and I felt this was our last election for freedom, that the church especially would lose its freedom after this year if it went on any longer. And it's almost gone. But we're seeing hope. But what are we going to do? Do you think Trump is going to take now the EMP bomb and all these things really serious?
Yes.
You got inside information?
Not that I have
Does
inside
Newt know?
information. It's just I define the quality by the people around him. And I know, of course, I know Newt Gingrich. I also know James Woolsey. And as I mentioned in one of the earlier programs, these are two people who see infrastructure security, protection against EMP as a top priority issue. That means we don't let our guard down because it's going to take time to implement. It could very well mean that an enemy sees that their window is closing and better hit now. But what's the alternative? To do nothing? I'll throw the one more Lincoln quote I always like, which is where Lincoln said, "We shall either nobly save or meanly lose the last best hope on earth." We are the best hope on earth.
Yes.
Let's celebrate American exceptionalism.
Yes.
We
Yes.
saved the world
That's right.
twice in the last century. I believe we can still do it in this century as well. We are the last best hope. Because we followed God. We followed God's will.
We will be right back after this special message.